In this video, recorded at Dickinson College Farm during a farmer-to-farmer learning event coordinated by PASA, Pennsylvania Association for Sustainable Agriculture, Lance Wright of Renewable Resources Associates shows us how he converted 4 appliances to run on biogas: a water heater, an absorption refrigerator, like you will find in an RV or other off-grid arrangement, a gas kitchen stove, and a radiant heater.
This is the main gas supply. We'll take this off. And secondarily, you've got a pilot line and a sensor line to tell you that the pilot's working. So those, these are the 2 safety devices. And use these wrenches to undo these 2 valves. And this one. Do I look nervous? There's no gas with that. What me nervous? So once those are disconnected, this actually is going to lift out pretty easily. And this is what the burner looks like. So, and this copper line is the sensor that tells you the flame's burning. This is the flame burning. So it heats that up, and once that, and when you turn a gas hot water heater on, everybody had to light the pilot from time to time if their flame goes out. You turn this to pilot, and that allows you to push down the red button. All right, so where we were at was identifying the burner assembly that comes out of the hot water heater, the safety, the pilot, and this is the main burner head. So in order to get this to burn biogas, you have to take off this burner head. If you remember, these are the jets. You don't want to mess with these holes. There's a little bit of holes all the way around. What you want to mess with is this piece on the bottom. That's the ejector. And that sits on top of here. So this pipe is 1/2 inch diameter, comes to this point, and generally it's about like 1/8 of an inch. So then I drill that out like 7/64ths or 9/64ths, as big as I can almost drill it. And then I put that back on. Now, the way this thing works is that the injector feeds the gas up through the bottom, and these holes here are the air mixing, and they're predetermined based on the fact that it's going to run on natural gas. If it was a propane burner, this might be slightly different, I'm not sure, but definitely this hole in the bottom would be much different. The pressure is like 10, I think it's 10 inches of water column on a propane and like 4 or 5 inches on a natural gas. Those specs are usually listed right here on the chart. This says the gas pressure manifold of 4 inches of water column for natural gas. So with this propane, we probably say something higher.
But the 7/64 is pretty, because of the methane biogas there.
Yeah, I think I went to 9/64 on this one. You know, it's like 2 to 4 times larger. So if it was an 1/8 inch, you know, you can go to 1/4 or to
4 times.
Yeah, 4/8 of a 1/2 inch. So that's a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's relative to the size of the burner you're working with. So once you do that, so what I do then is I take a piece of copper pipe, 1/2 inch copper pipe, and I figure out, I mess around with it. I cut a couple different lengths, and I insert them right inside here. They just tend to fall right in place, and they end up becoming a restriction and reduce the distance of air space of taking up air, because once it gets into here, it gets in the head and comes out. So this chokes down some of the air by dropping this little vertical copper pipe in there. So what I did to test that to see if I got the right pipe, I had a couple mixed pre-cut. This is sort of like the cooking show. And there you go. You put this back together out here. You need to do this so that you know you got it right. You can't work inside that hole.
Working with biogas gives you the opportunity to learn hydraulics, gas, working with gas, piping and fittings and whatnot. I mean, it's a full spectrum education. Biology, hydrology.
Along with genuflexing and contortionism.
It's all part of dragon husbandry.
If things go wrong, you can learn a little medicine.
You gotta know how to deal with it, yeah.
You gotta fail.
Well, in West Virginia, I lived with free gas, free natural gas, because I had 2 shallow wells on my property. It was before they started the deep well fracking. And so I was forced to learn all sorts of stuff. I mean, you just to maintain. And that's what that's I mean, it's so much to be said for a do-it-yourself approach to digestion rather than these huge turnkey systems. Because you know what's going on.
Okay, so we have the gas supply, which I want it to have in pipe. I put a thing on here to put the gas onto it. And we have a gas booster pump sucking off that big tank over there. This is the Chinese one that was shown earlier. And pulling the gas in. I have it running down through the pump into the regulator, which will let out 4 psi, or 4 inches of water column. I can adjust that. There's a cap that comes off, and there's a screw in there, and you can change it. So I have an inline pressure gauge, so I can read the pressure while I'm running it, and I can adjust it accordingly with the screwdriver, which is over here. Okay. So everything's on. We'll put this back on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my smaller one in.
We figure about 1,200 gallon digesters equals less than a 80,000 BTU furnace. Furnace, most houses have like an 80,000 BTU furnace.
So right now I'm reading
That's 40,000 BTUs, so you can actually run
10 inches of water
one of
column.
those off of it. 1,000 gallons.
Which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
Lance, what do you mean by water column?
Water column is, there's a, well, it's an atmospheric pressure issue with the amount of pressure that it takes to push a column of water up a certain height. There's a one up here on the wall.
Oh,
With
there you
the
go,
tube.
phenomenal.
So you fill that up with water to the 0 line, horizontal 0 line. There's a horizontal line with 0. And you put the water in, and then as you put pressure here, this water will rise up so many inches, and that tells you the number of inches of water column, inches of pressure.
Another way to do
28
it
inches is 1 psi, 1 pound per square inch.
Another way to do it is have a high pitcher of water and just stick the end of your gas tube into it, and when you get down to wherever the air stops or the gas stops flowing through, that's your inches of water pressure. It could be 4 inches, 2 and 6. For my free gas in West Virginia, it was about 6 to 8 inches. Some of these things can put out a whole lot more. That pump will put out, I don't know how much.
The most I got this pump to put out was 12 inches of water column.
Why would you pass that around?
Huh?
Pass that around.
Oh, pass it around. All right.
So
Yeah, this is another way to keep track of your gas. There's a manometer you might have seen inside against the far wall, the greenhouse wall, that tells the pressure inside the digester itself.
So, has anyone lit a hot water heater pilot before? Or anything that has to, where you have to hold the button? Right, so you hold the button, and you light the flame.
Anyone heard
Well,
heating and air
I
conditioning?
could purge the system
Top
of
level
air.
equipment. They didn't have electronics back then.
Is that why you brought that big sheet up back to act as a wind block?
I brought the whiteboard, but we could do that.
Well, there's a bit of a breeze.
That's one thing with doing this stuff outside. I mean, and the other thing is that biogas burns so clean, you can't hardly see it
Yeah, you
in
can't
that
see
light.
it. I think it's feel it.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I've got a light. You have to lay that.
Here you go now. I see it burning.
You do?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it's burning.
It's gotta burn long enough to throw the
So it
thermocouple.
has to get hot enough to heat that little tube, and that little tube goes heat up in here, and it pushes up. As it expands out and pushes on a valve that allows gas to flow through to the main gas valve. So when I let go of the button, it has to stay lit. That means when the thermostat asks for full throttle, it checks to make sure the flame's on before it even opens up the big gas valve. So, it's feeling good. Okay, well, it's still lit. So, now we want heat. Let's say we want some hot water. Right now I'm on vacation mode almost. So as we creep this up, you hear a little click. Oh, well, it helps to turn,
You
once
gotta
you got
turn
the
it
pilot
on.
lit, you do have to turn it to on. Now,
Oh, your pump changed it.
oh, forgot to check that. PSI drops dramatically when you go for that. And now I have to get back up to
There's it.
4
You can see
PSI.
it.
There you go.
4 watt inches. Thank you. So now we have flame, right? All the way around. And it's pretty clean looking. You don't see white. The way you can check it, see that? That's like rust. But you can also do the pixie dust test. Dust.
I like the rust.
Huh?
I like the rust test.
The rust test is
The
good.
rust test looks good.
So that's a nice flame. Okay, so then with that in mind, we'll just say, okay, good, we're good. Let's put it back together.
So, after a little bit of trial and experimentation, you decided that
Oh,
tiniest,
what? You want to see what a
little
bad
tube
flame is?
was the best one.
Right. Yeah.
So that's your only modification, is that little bat?
No, I drilled out the,
Okay.
I drilled the big main orifice up to like 9/64.
So you increase the gas flow and decrease the air
Air.
flow.
Yeah. Keep 2 things. So I found that with these basic hot water heaters, 5/8, almost 3/4 of an inch of tallow on top. I tried this one a little too high. The flame's not as, it's more wispy, and lower, it required more pressure to stand off the burners. See, we have a few more things to go through. So I thought I'd just keep moving. All right. So that's it. We put it back inside and we'll fire it up and we'll make some hot water by the time it's all over. And we see that the thermostat controls it on and off based on the temperature.
You turn the pump off.
That'll be good.
That same place I got the silicone tube from, they have these CPAC compressors.
CPAP.
CPAC, the breathing
I know
thing.
CPAP.
They sell just a compressor for like $12.
Do they work?
Huh? I just got it in the mail. Like I said, you order, stuff don't come to them companies for 3 or 4 weeks, so you forget, it shows up, you go, what'd I order this for?
Will that work? How much pressure will they pump?
Like 15 pounds, something like that.
You have to be a little bit careful with these lines. You don't want to kink them or anything. Especially the thermocouple. Yeah, you can't get that
In
baffle.
case you don't know what a thermocouple is, well, in this case, it's a copper tube, a small copper tube with a wire inside that copper tube. And that wire has the heater at the one end. And that wire is that's what's heated by the pilot.
Really?
And then as it heats up, it expands and pushes a switch inside the,
Yeah, a little tip of this. this little tip, if I was to heat that, this little tip would rise up. That's on a wire? I thought it was a gas in there.
I thought it
Two
was a
dissimilar-
thin little wire.
It's two dissimilar metals, and when you put electricity to, or put heat to them, they produce electricity. And one of those is the negative, and one's a positive. Now, the old mercoids had a mercury inside the tube, and when you heated that up with the pilot, that pressed the thing up on the inside in there.
Thermocouple.
Yep, there are two type of thermocouples.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah.
One
One's
does-
electric and one's,
Yeah, one does 25 millivolts, and the other one, the bigger one called the power pile, they actually can run a gas valve off of it. It looks
I
like 24.
stand corrected and I'm glad.
You're fine.
Glad that we know that now. Because the thermocouple was, there's lots of places you will have to think about thermocouples.
Well, when somebody
you're
changes their
up
own,
to
then
an
calls you and
appliance.
says it doesn't, they still can't get it to work, then you have to figure out which one they took out of there. They're two different things.
You'll notice sometimes we use, there's different size tubing, and kind of a homebrew way to make quick connections is to slide one inside the other. So because it's 3/8 inch tubing and the 1/2 inch tubing, they nest nicely inside of each other. You can put a little bit of spit on there and goes in, or a little bit of dish soap, what have you. They might leak a little bit, but generally speaking, the gas flow is where you want it to go. All right, we good?
yep, we're good.
Pump
So,
on.
we're gonna put the back end, because unless you epoxy it in place, which you can do. You gotta remember to put it back in.
Yeah, never knew where to work the side.
Okay.
Really hard to do that. Never knew where to
So
work
we're back to
sides.
the pilot mode.
Probably 4 times.
Gas is on. You're just making sure the tank's full?
Yep, thanks.
You definitely don't want to run a hot water heater without watering it. Heater's on, right?
Yep, we're good.
So every time you take it apart, you gotta purge the air back out, get the gas stuff coming to the head. So it's, right now it's got regular air in it. There, now that's lit again. That's why they have these doors on here to protect from wind.
How'd you learn all this stuff, Lance?
Trial and error. I was down in Jamaica and they were checking their biodigester out and he had a hot water heater there. And I was like, well, do you have, is it working on the, oh no, I haven't done that yet. He said, well, and I'm staying at this guy's place. I mean, it's warm in Jamaica, but cold water is still cold water to me. I'm thinking, I want to take a hot shower. So I need the need, mother of invention. Necessity, need is the necessity or something. Necessity is the mother of invention. So I said, well, we got to fix that. So, yeah, it did take me a little while to get down and do it, but that's where I first learned. Okay, so we're on, and we're on, and now we're in vacation mode. And you're going to hear it. Heard the pump drop down with the gas tank. This is, we should just something right here somewhere. Let's go check that. Okay. So we've got a bit of wind blowing in there. If anybody want to take a look inside or not. I'm not getting the pressure, I guess. Okay. All right, well, so let's move on. I'm going to put this on right now. It's cold water. And I'm going to go to warm. And this will shut off by itself. As it gets the temperature. Then you want to put your covers back on. And then you can always check here to make sure it's still burning. So.
Yeah, all right.
However, take a shot. Woo! So the next big event is the refrigerator. This was taken out of an RV refrigerator unit. This is the back side of it. The inside of the refrigerator would be on this side. There's a foam panel that penetrates the refrigerator box from here. So you see this up from the outside. And inside there's a foam panel with coils on it. And so the ammonia and hydrogen mixture is, the reservoir is here and it comes down into this bottom area and it's heated. I put this baffle in place. So here's the burner assembly. Very small. And there's a gas valve for it. The jet is right here. There's a removable jet here that I drilled out. The original jet size, you can pass this around, it's like, less than 1/16 or something. It's a tiny little jet. And I drilled it out too. Go over. And there's that screws right in. Just take it out.
Well, you have an extra jet handy?
Yeah, just hand one around.
Fit?
That's
Fit?
LP gas one right
Yeah,
there.
that's your jet.
No, the biogas one.
Yeah, from another burner. So that's a small one. So this is the drilled out one. And inside here,
3 to 4 times.
I have there's a little gas, I fitted up this little tube here. There's a space between the burner and where it goes into this tube. And that's where the air gets drawn in. So I then drilled this one out. That's how big I drilled it out to.
How many holes did you drill to be, I mean, you didn't jump from the tiny one there to the final one you used, did you?
Not the first time.
No, you
Yeah.
went up gradually.
Incrementally, yeah.
Yeah.
But based on the information you learn, it's 2 to 4 times as big. So I started at 2, like I doubled the whole size. And I creeped up a little bit more towards the 4.
Are you saying 2 times the diameter or 2 times the end area?
You know?
Huh? I'm asking, what the eighth is the fourth, or you're talking in there?
Like if it's an 1/8, I go to double that.
Okay, so it's more than, yes, that's 3, lot.
That, if you doubled an eighth, you're talking about a
Quarter inch.
a quarter inch, so that's a huge
That's
jump.
a huge volume.
Well, what would be 2 times an 1/8?
If you're going on
Quarter. But what we're talking about
did you see your version?
is the volume.
Back
is
him up
the
there.
potential
What is-
gas flow. And if you're just talking about doubling the gas flow, you don't want to double the size,
But it
because
doesn't have
that'll increase the
Well,
gas
in
flow.
the slides, I think it says increase the orifice
Yep.
2 to 4 times.
You're going from 900 BTUs to 600 BTUs, and you're going from how many PSI down to no PSI just about, so you've lost your pressure. So that's got to make the diameter bigger, so it's almost right. And if you look at those two right there that he's using, they are more than twice the distance, the diameter on there. It's not about using they use number drills to get the sizes of them, but that's...
Yeah, I use like a 55, a 60. When I converted this burner, it was made by Solaronics or whoever they are.
Maybe like a 55
I
or
called them up.
like that,
I
yeah.
told my situation, and they use a 55 number drill. It's 55 to 60.
Yep.
They give me a range. So I started there and started drilling. And I got great flame.
So these were both propane first, and you converted
Yeah.
it?
This was a natural gas.
That was natural gas.
This was a propane.
And in both cases, you were going 2 to 4 times?
No, actually, well, with the propane conversion, it's actually bigger. If you remember, propane's a little, say,
Right.
3 times the caloric value or something. Propane's
Those are the same things.
Propane's like 1,200.
Those are the same things.
1,200
switched over.
BTUs versus natural gas at 11 or 1,000.
That's LP, the brass one's LP. Now, if
And
that was
biogas
natural
is
gas,
at
it'd be
6. So you
almost
get
twice as
600,
big.
1,000, and 1,200 for propane. So propane's the smallest hole with the
Yeah.
highest pressure.
Yeah.
They use a lot more pressure. And then natural gas, midway.
If you put the wrong one in,
And
you
then
will know it.
Yeah.
so what I did here was to be able to shrink down this little airstream, I managed to find a piece of tubing that fit inside, as we're talking, the other tubing. And now I can get to move. Very neat.
All these jobs I've done over the years, I've been collecting old burners, people have been throwing away. Oh, I'll take that. You know, even the old gas grills.
So I took this little
Perfect for that.
3/8
Yeah, they
copper
last 2
tube,
years to make a
which
tube.
happens to fit just inside this little aluminum tube, which is the burner. The burner has these little holes in it. And those are the jets. You don't mess with those if you can avoid that. It's just about getting the right fuel mixture through it. Then the jet, that burns, no matter what it is, as long as it's the right mixture. So then I slide that in there and I insert in and out to change my air mixture. So I'm going to put that jet back in. Here's another propane refrigerator burner assembly that this pulls off. That's the air fuel mixture there. You could close up some of these holes and mess with that. And the jet's inside of here. Inside of this, there's another jet there that you can drill in.
That's the
And this-
jet you just got open.
And this one has a safety, so once the pilot's and the flame's lit, you let go, it'll stay lit. I don't have a safety. I'm not sure. That's that, I don't know what to say to that. It's kind of cool.
That's got your
Okay,
jet.
so that's just the brown one, yeah, I got it. So screw that back in.
So can I find this information on YouTube?
This
Somewhere?
one on the refrigerator, I don't know about the refrigerator. I made a refrigerator, a custom refrigerator. I have a video on that. I didn't load it. But where I took a tall, this was like a 4 cubic foot refrigerator, and I took an 8 cubic foot refrigerator cooling unit because he just wanted a freezing capacity. So I switched out the cooling units and built a refrigerator and then sent it down there and fired it up. So I don't know. I got YouTube might have something. They have everything. It's the greatest. So I put that in. So then I can slide this out and close the gap.
So you change the air gap?
Yeah, this is the air gap now. So to light this one, I'll use a smaller flamethrower. So here it is. Really hard to see this flame. Yeah. Okay, so we got a good flame there, and it's coming out the top. About 300 degrees is the optimal temperature for this process to take place. But in order,
Hold that, can you?
in order for it to work, this has to be perfectly level. So when you have an RV, the biggest instruction in your RV is level your RV. That's why they have levelers. It's only to make your refrigerator work. You can do everything else in your RV without a level situation if you want. But your refrigerator's not going to work if you're not level. So I made this little cover. So I think I should put that on just in case it blows out. You really can't see the flame at night. You can see it.
What's going on inside that second
So what's going on here is that this tube has the motor hydrogen mixture. It comes back from the reservoir, gets heated, and it goes into gas and comes up here, expands, somehow it separates during the boiling process, and somewhere in there it recombines. This you can see on YouTube. The Einstein circuit. Einstein's circuit is very well explained. But it's the separation and the recombination of the two gases, and then they get bitter cold on this backside. And they combine and come back together. And it's an automatic thermosuction effect. As soon as you heat it, it rises, cools, falls back. Just keep happening.
Does that run the same pressure as this, the 4 inches?
Well, right, no, this one, there it is. Yes, they all want generally 4 inches for natural gas. But you control the jet, the smaller jet will only so much. Yeah, so this uses a lot less gas. So that one little bit, that. What I use is so to monitor that over time, I use the infrared. And I can keep an eye on this So with when you have it in a refrigerator, there's a thermostat in the refrigerator, and when the temperature gets cold enough, it'll temper back your gas and put you back to either an off nominal pilot or it relights with a piezoelectric device. So they're fully automatic. And they reignite, because the size of this flame is about the size of the pilot flame. It's like a little thumbnail. And then, so we're like at 100 degrees now, 106. But, so let's come back to this in a little while. Only at 92, 95. But if I go down here and check the flame at the base, I got 293 degrees, 228 as it's building, 285. So it's 285 down at the base, and it'll stabilize up to the top, that size flame. And then once the refrigerator's cold enough, then it would shut off. But we'll feel this in a little while. Okay, so do we have, so the next,
Right.
that's the refrigerator.
So we've got another pump coming.
Right, so now we have the two different other kinds. Here we've got the gas stove, your regular gas stove. This one was a propane stove. And all these come off. Just flip that off. And now you're at the underside of the stove. So they have their own regulator already built in. This had an optional propane or natural gas function. And that would change it from 10 to 4. There's this reading on here of what inches of water column, 4 to 10. So on natural gas, you go 4. On propane, you go to 10. And that is achieved by merely switching this little cap. Right? There's a spring in here, and when you turn the cap this way, it pushes down on the spring more, and when you turn it this way, it lets it off, less pressure. So the 4 is less pressure, so that goes that way. And that we're going to set it up as if it was running on natural gas. The burner assembly is here. They have a jet down here on the inside of the valve that you can drill out. I drilled this one out. So there are two components, and remember, it's always fuel, volume of fuel, and air. It's a fuel to air mixture that makes everything work. So on these stoves, they have this little slidable door. It rotates and fits on a set screw. Yeah, very simple. And all you do is rotate it. So with the propane, it was pretty wide open. But I have it working on this gas is down to here.
Right down.
Pretty much closed off. Pretty much just closed off. Because, I'm going to find it. Let's put the tapes. To get a good blue flame. And so, like it said in that slide, you know, this is a trial method trial.
What are you looking for in a biogas flame to know that you've got
Oh,
it right?
tight blue,
Tight blue.
a little bit off the, and it cups it, it's stable, and it cups the bottom of the pot. You can see it can rise off its end of these. You want it too far off, not too far off the little holes.
You'll be able to adjust this one because you can get access to the.
Just the air.
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah, you just kind of, this wind. You know. All right, so we're all live? Two. Okay, now this bag will deplete as we turn this on. Here we go. So this is a electric, usually there's a standing pilot. We didn't have to drill out any pilots because this is electronic ignition. When you turn it on, it goes tick, tick, tick. Oh, it's plugged in. No plug?
Did you just plug in?
No. Well, we can go without the plug-in. We're limited on electric here.
Yeah, let's just,
So we'll go with the manual lighting method. So we want to work with that. So no standing pilot. And which one is it? Up there. stabilizing. So there's a bit of air in the tubes. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but can you see the flames? Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a setting here, high, and just a little off of high. High is the electronic igniter, tick, 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 and so then you back it off. And that's the right setting for high. But without this noise, you don't realize that. So you actually, when you're running an electronic and you don't have the electronics hooked up, you don't turn all the way high, it's like too high. Just to go back just to here. And that looks really stable flame. You can see it. If I tried to light these with no modification, I don't even think they don't light. They basically just don't light.
Not enough gas.
Not enough gas. So that's the real difference. That's a really nice flame. Maybe we'll make the popcorn on this, Matt? Sure. Yeah. All right, we'll come back to some popcorn making. For right now, I'm going to now do the last burner that I have hooked up is the radiant. Again. All right, so now this one had a burner assembly, as I said, they're a little difficult to work on. This was the original burner assembly. It had a pilot that would sit up in front of the flame through this little hole here. And it would sit up there, and then you would light it. And once that, you would let go. And then it would fully inflame. And if it went out, then it would just, if the heat went off, then the gas would shut off. So it had a safety. But it was a manual light, no volume control, just full on. That's what they are. They don't have like medium, low, and high with radiant. It's just full on. But that didn't work to be able to adjust or work or get to the jet. It's all welded, totally fixed in. So I was able to take this Bunsen burner that they had here, had the right diameter, and I shoved it up. It was 1-inch hole, perfect. So I just shoved it up in there, put the gas to it, opened the jet as wide as possible. And in this case, because of the amount of gas required, I had to leave the jet wide open to be able to get a viable red flame. So this one we should be able to see. It did require full pressure. Takes a minute. So the box fills up with gas, and it's this ceramic, the ceramic face with all these little pinholes. The gas sort of works its way through, and once it gets red hot, it just everything burns on the surface, and then you have radiant heat. Before that, if it's just a flame, you'll feel you have heat just rises here. There's no forward heat. But once it gets to full temperature, it'll burst, it'll turn cherry red, and your heat will start radiating instead of convecting up on the flame. Does everybody see the red? You can feel the heat here now, and it's not up here as much. I mean, it's a little comes off the top. But before it was all here, nothing out front. So that's the magic. Radiant. Yeah!